Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Cookie B. Now, as you know, it is 4:59, and I come on a little early, just as I do, so you can get situated, so I can get situated before we get this conversation started. It is Thursday, January 15th. We're going to talk about some things. We had a great, excellent conversation on Tuesday, as well as a special guest. It was really interesting. I'm so glad and thankful that you guys tune in. And I'm just waiting on 5 o'clock. And guess what? It's 5 o'clock. Hey there. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Cookie B. It is Thursday, January 15th, and we are about to get this party started. So as you know, I always like to start with something positive, and with starting with something positive. Hey, D-Lo, I'm trying to figure out where this shadow was coming from. I am going to first pull a card. So we're going to start with something positive, and I'm going to pull a card. So I'm going to pull up, let's pick one. Okay, I'm going to pick this one. All right. And with picking this card, hey, Kelly, silence. So the card today is silence. Rest your mind. Silence is good for self-care. Rest your mind. Silence is good for self-care. So that is the saying for today. That is the positive message for today. And what I'm going to do also as my shirt, because we talked about dating on Tuesday, and dating in 2026. Everybody had some great, interesting outlooks and input, and I surely do thank you. But my shirt today says, and I don't know if you can really see it. Hold on. It says, if the love doesn't feel like the 80s or the 90s, nope, I don't want it. If the love doesn't feel like the 80s or the 90s, R&B, I'm sorry, the 80s or the 90s R&B, then I don't want it. If the love doesn't feel like the 80s or the 90s R&B, then I don't want it. I don't want it. If there's a cure for this, I don't want it. I don't want it. Yeah, it was the same. You know, y'all remember that song. Hey, Kelly. All right. And you know, I like this man, Jeff Moore. He always comes up with some sayings. And today I just came across his saying. It says, the ultimate flex is how many different lives you can positively impact. The biggest flex is how many different lives you can positively impact. All right. Now, as y'all know, today it's time to drink something. Now, I really ain't ate nothing today. I had breakfast this morning, but today is the San Antonio Grape Red. Now, I don't like this one as good as the Cardinal Red, but here's to you. All right. Now, let me advise you. On today's Conversation with Cookie B, we talked, happy birthday to Martin Luther King. I'm sorry. I meant to say that. It's Martin Luther King Day. Happy birthday to Martin Luther King. As you know, he was born he was born January 5th, 1930. What is it? 39 or 29? Hold on. I took my glasses off. He was born in 1929, and he was assassinated. Did you hear what I said? Assassinated. April 4th, 1968, which was a month before I was born. So, happy birthday to Martin Luther King. I know that, they're not celebrating it until Monday, but then that I'm gonna go and say it. That motherfucker that's in office right now, I think he kind of took away the day. So I don't know if a lot of things are going to be open. I did go to the UPS store today, and they had a sign saying they will be open on Monday, January 19th. Yeah, I guess they couldn't wait. Anywho, now today's conversation, let me tell you, today's conversation, we talked about dating in 2026 on Tuesday, and that was excellent. I want to shout out to my friend Will, who tuned in, chimed in, and had great input. as well as those of you that were typing in the comments. But I also neglected, and I apologize, a post that an inbox that I got on January 7th. And this person, I know him and his wife. And where did he go? He advised me to talk about this on the show. So I told him, give me a chance. I will talk about it. And I'm going to do that today because the topic is going to be double standards when it comes to dating. So it came right on time. And I'm so glad that it was brought to my remembrance. Thank you, universe. And I said, somebody sent me a message about dating and double standards. Now, of course, I'm going to give the technical definition because double standards more or less is a rule or principle that's unfairly applied. Yeah. A rule or principle that's unfairly applied. So we all know that in the real world, there's a lot of double standards when it comes to working. Men and women, they're unequally paid. We can go with a lot of double standards. But this time we're going to stick to dating and double standards. Now, last year, I can say that. Last year, we learned about love bombing. And that was really interesting to me because it came to my remembrance because love bombing is when a man just pours it on you, you know, just giving you everything and then turns out really to be a narcissist. So in the beginning, when I found out about this definition of love bombing, I said, well, love bombing, that's him giving me everything, just bombing me with his love. No. I found out that that's a totally different definition. It has a negative connotation, meaning that he showers you with gifts, gives you everything you want in the beginning. And then all of a sudden, things change. So that's love bombing. I guess everything, quote unquote, explodes. So when it comes to double standards in dating, I kind of looked up some stuff, but I want the real deal when you're commenting because we talked about dating. I had to kind of refer this to me in a little bit because everybody has that word, intimidating. So when I am trying to look approachable, let me say that, is it okay if I approach him? If I see something I want and I go after it and I say, well, let me take you out. But he has to then, switch the role back and know that he is the man. But when it comes to dating, nowadays, there are a lot of double standards, meaning that a lot of us are unequally yoked, even when it comes to dating. Now, there were a couple examples that were given Tuesday when it comes to a man that makes more or you make more than him, things of that nature. And, a woman can pay for a date every now and then. We talked about that. But are there double standards? Now, when this person asked me this question, I said, please expound on what you're saying. So he says, well, say a guy is dating a woman, but at the same time, seeing someone else. But if the woman was to see someone else, like a man, or another woman, if they call themselves dating, the guy may get all up in his feelings. Why? Now, let's say that we've established that we are in dating. So we're not exclusive just yet, but we are dating. So if we're dating, can I see somebody else? I'm asking for a friend. Because we haven't established anything yet. So I'm still filling things out. Meaning that I think I posted something on my Facebook page the other day, like, yeah, date them all. Date them all until one shows up to be true. So I have to ask that question, is it a double standard? Because more than likely, men do this all the time. Hey, Gina. Hey, Regina. Men do this all the time. So I've heard. Men can date. And there's a term that I always use, and I tell people I mean no harm. When I say, what's up, pimp? Pimp means to me, and this is my definition, that you are getting money from somewhere. That means you pimping it. You got the game, you on lock. it does not necessarily mean a negative connotation. When I say, what's up, pimp? Because you pimping your job, you pimping something, it doesn't matter to me. But when it comes to dating, men get called player. A woman gets called a hoe. Is that a double standard? Now, men can be hoes too. Don't get me wrong. But I have that question when it comes to double standards. Now, like he said, a woman can do it. A man can do it. But yet when a man does it, they get all in their feelings. Why? Then he says, why can't a woman date the same as a man and not be looked at different? Why is that a double standard? So I'm asking my audience here, why is that a double standard? I mean, women are supposed to be women and good girls don't tell. But if I decide to date 3 men, not saying that I'm sleeping with them. We're just dating, meaning that I'm weighing out all my options. Why is that wrong for a woman, but a man can do it all the time? Now, I had a couple of things when I'm saying, well, it's because a man is spending his money that he gets to call the rule and say, well, no, you can't date nobody else, because we all know that men hold things differently. I can say that. Kelly says there is definitely a double standard. My husband doesn't have an issue with our son dating several women, but has a big issue if our daughter does it. Why? Where Jay at? Tell Jay to chime on in here, because I need to know why he got a double standard, because she doesn't necessarily. And I know you could feel some way because this your daughter. Don't get me wrong. It's your daughter. So you do feel a certain way about her dating. Now, I can tell you when it came to my daughter, I advised her, and I don't think I was wrong, because I told her, don't fall for the first dick you get. You have options. Date. Now, I wasn't telling her to go out there and be a hoe, but I was telling her to live her life. To live. You ain't got to sleep with every man, but date. The right one will come along, but date. Now, she wound up dating this guy who he didn't go to the same high school. They didn't go to the same high school, but they both played football. So she played flag football. He played regular football. Long story short, that's the man she is with right now. Got 2 kids by. So it happens different ways for different people. I get it. But me advising my daughter to weigh your options, to get out there and experience life. And like I said, I wasn't telling her, go sleep with everybody, but I was telling her, you can date. You can see more than one man, especially at a time. Now, if this one ain't taking you out and this one called, why can't you go out with that? Because the other one flaked out, or the other one just said, oh, I don't feel like going out. But if somebody else call you and say, you want to go to the show? You want to go and get something to eat? Why can't a woman go? Because a man can do it. So there is truly a double standard. I guess that's solved out. That's solved. Because I totally don't agree with it. But it's going on. Now, he had a caveat to this question, because he said, secondly, whomever asked that person on a date, shouldn't that person pay the bill? If a man asks a woman out, he should pay. It's an invitation to join that person and vice versa, that the woman should pay if she asks a man out. Now, if it's a mutual conversation of a dinner date, then I can see the bill being split. Why the double standard? He advised me of this, and I said, that sounds like a good show topic. And I advised him, I'm going to talk about this on my show. So I'm talking about it now, y'all. Is there a double standard? Because I don't mind taking a man out. I don't mind paying for the date. I don't mind showing I appreciate his company, so to speak. But is that a double standard? I'm asking. Regina said, Regina says, it always has been. Now, I'm not trying to take away his manhood, and I truly don't believe chivalry is dead. But I believe times have changed just a little bit when it comes to dating, as we talked about on Tuesday. Some women are a little bit more forward, and some men are a little shy. All right, Jay, I've been waiting on you to chime in. What you got to say? You say double standards exist because our value to each other is different, one gender to another. Okay. They double standards do exist, but why? Why is it that if I am just as educated as you, paid less than you, and we're working the same job? So I'm going to start there. If we're both working at the same company, we get hired at the same time, why is it that your salary is higher than mine? Now, I know that this to be true because there are certain, jobs where when you come in, they say, they advertise it. Well, what's the starting pay? Now, that's different. When you say, what's your starting pay? How are we going to start? If you're starting me out and this is the same job that's advertised, be it male or female that's applying for the job, shouldn't be a double standard. If the job says we're starting salary is $55,000 and you're doing IT work, let's say in the door, entry level, male or female, when you're starting, your salary should be $55,000. Now, we have the same education skill, everything. When it comes to my raise or your raise, I've heard that now that's when things get complicated. That's when things get just a little bit more touchy, because that's how we come to find out men are being paid more than women. So now we're dating. Now, as I advised you guys, I was thinking about, and I haven't done it, but I was thinking about going on a dating app. And I said, I'm just going to try it out just a little bit. I think Black People Meet was one of them that I was on before. And I didn't go out with anybody on the dating app at that time because it was, oddly enough, some of the people that were on there, I kind of like, damn, he looked familiar, blah, blah, blah. And I just got off because I just couldn't do it. I just said, okay, I talked to a couple of guys on there and, they say, oh, hey, beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Why are you on this app? Well, it's a dating app. Why are you on here? Okay. I ignored it. I didn't say anything, but I got a little frustrated because I said, I just want to meet somebody the old fashioned way. So when it comes to double standard, I believe, let's say if I see something that I like or a man, I don't have a problem asking him out on a date. I think that kind of breaks the ice. Now, I do want him to have the same standard and say, if he's not interested, he could say no. I would be okay with that because men get rejected all the time. So I would be placing myself in his shoes and say, well, he talk on to the next one if I see somebody else. But when it comes to, as we're talking on this Conversations with Cookie B, double standards. If you have any examples, put them in the chat. Are there double standards when it comes to dating? Now, I know a lot of you guys that are in my circle are married. And this could also go as far as when it comes to household chores. Is it a double standard when it comes to household chores? Now, I did see something that I saw online where it says, household chores, expecting the partner to handle all the household tasks while not contributing. This wine got me, y'all, contributing equally with finances. One partner demanding saving while the other one just spends frivolously. When it comes to appearance, double standard, holding a partner to a strict beauty standard while not, and I repeat, not doing that themselves, neglecting their own. Infidelity. Believing it's okay for one to cheat, but not the other. Now, I know that becomes a big issue because I've heard men say that. And that's going to be another one of my shows too when it comes to men cheating. Men don't handle cheating the same way as a woman because women are quick to forgive. And I think women, more or less, we always say, well, yeah, that's what we expect them to do. Now, I don't expect no man to cheat. I really don't. But we as women, we are more accepting of it. We just say, okay, he cheated. Nowadays, things have changed because nowadays there are women saying, if you cheat, nigga, you gone. We're done. Kaput. But then if a woman does it, meaning that if a woman cheats and the man finds out, all hell breaks loose. So there's a double standard when it comes to cheating, infidelity, let's say that. Accountability, demanding accountability from a partner, but not taking responsibility for your own actions. So when we're saying this, when it comes to dating, there truly is a double standard. Why? Why is there a double standard? I mean, and I know we can say why, ask why, but why is there a double standard? Because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I'm just asking. Now, a lot of us can account, or some of us can have had the experience of being cheated on. And I can say that even in marriages, being cheated on, and then you still stay with that man. And that's okay, because that's your choice. But it can be, like you say, a double standard. Is it okay for a man to get upset when he finds out that the woman that he loves has cheated? Shouldn't he be able to get over it like he would expect her to get over it? Do you agree with that? Yes or no? I have to ask that question. Is that agreeable? Do you expect him to get over it like you do? I'm just wondering. So when we're talking about dating today, you guys, we're talking about double standard. Because on Tuesday, we talked about dating. And a lot of you guys gave great input when it comes to that, because how you met her and how you guys decided to stay together, or a lot of you guys have been married over 20 something years, and I surely do thank you for that. Jay says, well, double standards in dating involve implying different, often unequal rules or expectations to a partner than you would yourself, frequently based on gender, culture, or personal beliefs. Now, this can be, taken any type of way. So think about this, because I'm reading. Come on now. I'm reading what Jay is saying. And he says sorry about that. Common examples include judging a woman for career focus, but praising a man, expecting emotional openness from one, but not the other, or harsher judgment for a partner's mistakes. Addressing them requires open communication, setting boundaries, and understanding underlying causes like traditional gender roles or insecurities. That is a great one. Now, I did miss something. Hold on. I'm sorry, Jay. I missed something that you said, because when I'm looking at what you typed in, it's not, let me go to my homepage. On my phone, it's not showing everything that you said. So I apologize. Hey, Blue, hey there. I apologize, because I wanted to read that whole entire statement that you said. Here we go. See more. Okay, double standards in dating involve applying different, often unequal rules or expectations to a partner than you would yourself, frequently based on gender, culture, and personal beliefs, leading to unfairness in areas like career, ambition, emotional expression, finances, or sexual behavior, and can erode trust by creating power imbalances. Common examples include judging a woman for her career focus, but praising a man, expecting emotional openness from one, but not the other, or harsher judgment for a partner's mistakes. Addressing them requires open communication, setting boundaries, and understanding underlying causes like traditional gender roles and insecurities. Thank you for your patience. You're right. I love what you stated in that, Jay. I really do. Jay says double standards exist because our value to each other is different from one another. Agreed. So double standards exist because they have to? I'm asking. I think double standards exist, but I think double standards exist, but they should be like Jay says, openly communicated, but fair. Let me say that they should be fair. Now, men and women, when it comes to that, this can be a bitter down fight because it's do as I say and not as I do. Now, growing up, that was something that my father kind of said a lot. Do as I say and not as I do. And I never understood that, but now I do. But there are a lot of things that as I'm still growing, there's a lot of things that I now understand when it comes to that. Because like I told you guys on Tuesday, I was like, well, why am I, mowing the grass? Or why am I doing such and such? And why am I doing this and that? But I now understand it. My father saw things in me that he didn't see in his sons, and expected things of me, which have now molded me into the woman that I am right now. So I get that. Hey, Tammy. So I understand that now. At the time, like I said, I was not understanding it because I'm going, no, I'm a girl. I shouldn't be doing this. Now, Jay says people say they want equality until it's not convenient. Jay, I must say that is a great statement. People say they want equality until it's not convenient. Now, with everything that's going on in the world right now, that's something that we definitely are going through. The double standards will always exist. Jay, I totally agree. I wish that we can look at each other equally. This even goes back to skin color. Tony said, hey, Tony. Yeah, this even goes back to skin color because we have been fighting for quote unquote equal rights for over 400 years. This can go back to history. And I totally agree that maybe it can't be undone, but in your life, there are some things that you can say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So when we're bringing this double standard to dating, and a lot of you guys, I know you're married, but you can bring it to your household. I mean, you may not expect your wife or your wife to change the tire. I get it. But she can expect you to wash that dish that you just used. When it comes to household chores, I'm just thinking of some things can be a double standard. Maybe not. Some things can be, oh, baby, I got this. Then some things not. So I get it. Like I said, with today's conversation with Cookie B, I thought about our topic we had on Tuesday, and I thank so many of you guys for tuning in. We talked about dating in 2026. Now, I know the majority of my audience that does tune in to me I appreciate it. And a lot of you guys are married, and I agree, but I want my single people too. And if you can, remember, married people, before you got to where you are right now, remember, it's hard out here for a pimp. It's hard out here now because a lot of us are getting divorced. A lot of us are choosing to walk away from certain situations. And then that causes you to start all over again. So when you're getting back out there in the dating world, as we talked about on Tuesday, there are double standards. So when it comes to this new topic of double standards, this is so broad. It goes to your job. It comes into your household. It goes to your finances. A lot of that. Now, a lot of my married people that y'all tuned in tonight, when it comes to your household, and you can tell me what you want me to know, it's okay. Are there double standards in your household? Meaning that, and I don't mean double standards in that way. I mean that, does he do something that you're not supposed to do? And when I say not supposed to, it means that he's always established that this is my job. This is my household role. Gina says, yes, by any means necessary. Jay says, a man usually has no respect for a promiscuous woman versus a woman usually has no respect for an inexperienced man. Now, there's a song that popped in my head when you typed that, Jay. Can you love a virgin man? Now, I don't know if I wouldn't have respect for an inexperienced man, but there would be certain things that I would expect him to know, especially how to treat a woman. Kelly says, yes, I expect my husband to do everything. Tony says, yes, indeed. Now, I'm loving this because when you say that, Jay, you're right. A man doesn't have any respect for a promiscuous woman, but yet when he's watching videos or the men that they're looking at, all these baddies and stuff like that, they want the bad girl. They want that. Now, you know she out there because they get the woman that's dressed skimpily. I'll say that, that's not covering up everything. Now, I'm not judging anybody when it comes to that, but usually most men, and I've seen this, when a woman walks in the room and she got on, less clothes, they looking. Now, do they want it? I'm sure they do. But most of them have somebody at home. But if a man walks in, I cannot say, and Jay, this is just me playing devil's advocate. I can't say that I wouldn't want a man that's inexperienced. Now, when you say, Jay, I'm going to say inexperienced. Now, he should know how to take me out. He should know how to ask, certain questions or hold a conversation. So when you say inexperienced, Jay, I want to know, because I don't know too many men that's not experienced. Jay says respect, meaning you won't put all your eggs in one basket versus a man that know what he's doing. Oh, okay. Let me drink something. Well, Jay, I got to go a little deeper because when you say what man don't know what he doing, I don't get that. What man don't know what he doing now? Because you're right. A woman is now being taught to be exclusive. Now, even when dating, and this is what I'm saying, like he may not be my man, but if I'm going to see him, I'm going to see one at a time. That's just me. Now, I know there's a bunch of my friends that got a couple of motherfuckers on their roster. Okay. If you can juggle like that, fine. I just don't have time to be doing all that looking. I just don't have time to keep up with all that. He needs to know how to lead. That's right. So when you say inexperienced, Jay, I have to ask that question because a man, because this is a double standard, like you're saying, a man would love to have a virgin. A man would love to be the first. A man would love to break her in. But a woman, I would say, would possibly want the same thing because I get to mold them. Now, let me say this. I think when it gets to us being now up in age, we ain't doing no molding. We ain't doing none of that because we thinking that the clay should already be molded, hardened, and curated. We not doing all that. We want somebody, like you said, experienced. But if a man is older, he don't mind having an inexperienced woman. You're right. That's a double standard. Now, I don't know too many men who wait a minute, something here. Nah, yeah. Tammy says right. I said this before. He does need to know how to lead. But then Gina says, nah, you're right. There's a song, Can You Love a Virgin Man? Because there's some women who enjoy molding, meaning that I'm going to make him the way I want him to be. And like I said, even nowadays, I don't have time for that. I want him to come readily equipped. I want him to come already ready. But then too, a man, like I said, will be like, they go after the young ones. And we know that from history based on Diddy, based on R. Kelly, based on Little Richard, based on the men, Elvis Presley, from history. Men prefer to be the first. Now, I would love to be a man's first. And when I say that, I don't want to be the first woman he slept with. No. Hey, Pam. But I love to be the first to have a lot of experiences with him. So when he says that he wants, let's go do this, I want to experience that with him. Hey, Pam. Pam, we are talking about double standards in dating. I do want to have that experience. Mark says, got me thinking about the blob off Giggle Snort Hotel. Hey, Trina. Hey there. Jay says, no respect for the man. Too easy to run up on someone who knows their way around the room. Now, let's talk about that, Jay, because a woman, just like a man, don't want a hoe. I don't want a man that's been all around with everybody. I don't. Cap, you will get bored. Oh, okay. I don't think so. I don't want too much experience, but a man ain't done everything. Let me say that. When it comes to these double standards, there's no man that's done every single thing. No, he don't exist. But a woman does want that kind of experience. And the reason I say that is like Tammy said, you would lead. You would say, baby, I done been to Spain, but now I want to experience it with you. And he may know where to go or know what to do and say, let's do this. Let's do that. As far as even staying locally, baby, let's go to a retreat. Let's relax. Let's get massages. Now, some women may be like, well, no, I ain't never, when did that and blah, blah, blah. But then he's still leading. He's showing her something that she's never seen before. Now, women can do that when they give an example. Baby, what you want to do? Well, baby, let's go do such and such. Okay. Now, some men will complain. I don't want to do that because, da, 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 da. Okay. I don't know why you complaining, because you just asked me what I wanted to do. So now I told you. So what you mad for? People say they want it. So I don't understand that. It's not. I don't understand that at all. Now, when it comes to, like I said, dating and the double standard. There is, we can agree to disagree, a double standard, but a woman still wants a man to be a man. Let me say that. But also, you cannot tell me that you can do something and I can't. I don't agree with that at all. Mark said a man leading is a grown man. I totally agree. I know that I want on my list of shows that I want to do is talking about the men nowadays reaching back to the men that are the young men that are coming up now. Are we showing them great examples of leading? So stay tuned for that show also. Same with the young ladies, with the women that are coming up now. There's so many different things where they think this is being cute to be a baddie, to cuss a man out, to smack them, to do such and such. That's not the life you want, but that's for another show. We'll talk about that. That'll be coming up. That'll be coming up soon when it comes to the next generation. Let me say that because I know I've touched on it last year, but we're going to touch on it again this year when it comes to the next generation. But double standards, because men need to be men, and I believe women need to be women. Now, I've heard this saying where a woman should know her place. We need to talk about that also. Now, Pam says that's exactly what the last sickie ship told me. Well, Pam, we're going to do a side by side with questions with you because I really want you to come on my show because I'm enjoying your questions and us talking. Jay says a leading woman will eventually push a man away. Women I know say it's too exhausting. Now, let me say this. That can be a personality trait because a woman, I'm not saying she leaves the household, but she subtly suggests something. Baby, let's do such and such. I don't think it's leading, let me say that. But I think it's just subtle suggestions. Tony says, I've always did the leading, but I'm tired now. Well, that leads to what Jay said. It can be exhausting. Now, I know that, and I'm going to have to talk about this with my married folks, because I know that I don't want some of my married folks, I'm not trying to cause any trouble. I don't want any trouble. But I know it's a lot of our married people say that. They've like, you know what? I've led, but I'm tired. Because we do that, or they've done that to keep the household afloat, to keep the household running, to make sure it runs smoothly, to take the pressure off of their husband. But a lot of them, like you said, Tony, they tired now. Pam says, sicky and suckingship. Pam, what is that word? Sickyship. Oh, so that's not situationship. That's sickyship. Girl, I'm trying to read that word now. That's some of that ebonics. Some of that stuff I need to know. But you're right. I know that there probably is, and I know that there are some men listening now, some men who want some women into ebonics for situationship. I knew it was. I'm like, situationship? Girl, you're right. The situationship. But I know that too, when I'm talking to Miss Tony, there are some men who say, I'm tired of leading. Baby, I want to sit down. So I'm going to give the men some type of grace when it comes to this, because there are some men who say, I don't want to do this no more. Baby, I've been doing this. I'm taking care of this. I'm taking care of that. What you doing? Now, I'm sure with each one of the households that are on my show right now, I know that each one of you have great households. I know that each one of you come from a great background. I know that each one of you have gone through this, this, and this. And I've learned something from each and every one of you. And I'm thankful for you sharing. But I also know that times have truly changed. And we've gotten to that point where, like I said, I have so many friends that are like, girl, look, I'm tired. I ain't finna do this no more. I know that there's some men, and we're going to talk about this too, who expect a porn star in the bedroom every night or every time y'all decide to do something. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that in the bedroom too. And I don't need you to tell me all your business, but you can say you know, talking for a friend. But when it comes to this double standard, there are some men, and I've had this conversation at my favorite hole in the wall, where they say, you know what? I want my woman to engage or initiate sometimes. And that's okay. Jay says, I was raised to lead within a partnership. And this is usually done by another leading man as an example. That's great. Mark says, my porn days are over. Totally agree. Now, I believe that when I say agree, I mean that meaning that a lot of people are saying the same thing, because in the beginning, you know, the honeymoon stage, we doing this, we doing that, we on the wall, we doing such and such. But then when you get to a certain age, like Regina just said, shit, them days is over. Because the goal is, baby, you get yours, I get mine, let's go to sleep. We've made this connection. I still love you. I still love you. It's just ultimately about connecting. And that's all we need to do is connect. But double standards, I'm going to have to talk about that too, because, you know, the women always leading. Like, the men are always initiating from what I hear. So women, are we saying, baby, hey, let me hit that tonight. Let me get some of that. Tony says, yeah, they may want that, but the knees are shot. But the knees are shot. Pam says, Mark, a lot of mental are delusional about that. A lot of men are delusional about that. You're right. Because I think I just posted a video too where this old man was trying to mac his shot. And he told her, baby, I get my pension check on this day. And if this don't work, I sure got my tongue. And I was just laughing because I said to myself, he probably gonna croak over like The Color Purple. How'd he die? On top of me? Man, you come on now. I'm just asking. Mark says, ain't no more standing up. Never mind. Wait, y'all. I gotta tell y'all a story. I remember one day as a kid, my parents, I slept on the same, you know, in Chicago, we have the Chicago bungalows. So usually there's 2 bedrooms or something on one floor, and then you have a basement, you have an upstairs, or there's 3 bedrooms or whatever. And I remember one time I was in my bedroom, and you know, I just decided to get up and get some water. And when I went into the kitchen to get some water and turn the light on, my mama and daddy was in there. They was in the kitchen. And I said to myself, and I looked, my mom had her little gown on, you know, the little moo-moo gown. And I just laughed. And I said, wait. And I laughed, and my dad, who was butt naked, I didn't see anything, but he ran back in the bedroom. And I just found that to be hilarious, because I was saying to myself, and I had to be like in high school, but I was saying to myself, my parents still be doing it. And I laughed so hard, but in my mind, I was saying, why y'all had to come to the kitchen, by the kitchen table? That was just me. Maybe they was being adventurous, but they was standing up, Mark. That's what triggered that memory. They was standing up by the kitchen table, and I'm going, wait, what are you? I was just, oh my gosh. Pam says, were you traumatized? Pam, I wasn't traumatized. It was hilarious because I'm going, what y'all doing? Like, why are you in the kitchen? I didn't see anything. Like I said, my mom had her gown on. The lights was off, But I guess they was just going to stand up and do it in the kitchen. Maybe the bed was making too much noise. I don't know. But I know everybody then probably busted their parents doing something. But I just laughed because when Mark said there's no more standing up, I was thinking, I remember busting my parents standing up in the kitchen. I didn't get it. I was just like, whoa, I wasn't traumatized. I just said, why was they doing it in the kitchen? Like in my mind, I was saying, why was y'all in the kitchen? Like sex is for the bedroom. Why was y'all in the kitchen? So I just had to tell that little story, but I thought about it because I was like, why are they in the kitchen? I didn't understand that. But anywho, when it comes to, like we saying, double standards, women that are in my chat right now, are you initiating? Are you saying, baby, let me hit that tonight? Because I know that that's a big complaint, let me say that, when it comes to some of the men. And I've had that conversation with some men where they said, I'm always the one initiating, my wife, blah, blah, blah. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And then maybe, I tell them maybe it's her sex drive. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe they just, a lot of us women are going through some issues, and I know men are too, but maybe we have to wait till we can catch you at that good moment. Pam says they were being freaky. Yeah, girl, they was being freaky. Tony says they had just finished and was getting something to drink. No, they wasn't. They was on the kitchen table. Why they had the lights off, Tony? Why the lights off if they was getting something to drink? Because I went in the kitchen and turned the lights on so that I could get me something to drink. They didn't turn the light. Trina says all the time. You know what? I'm just asking. These are just questions that the inquiring mind wants to know, because there's a lot of double standards out here. There's a lot of double standards when it comes to our employer. There's a lot of double standards when it comes to even in my household, raising my daughter. There's a lot. You said not the table. Yes, Pam, they was at the table, holding the table. So they was standing up like Mark said. But even then, we need to try to get a man or get a woman a break when it comes to double standards. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Let me say that. It is good for the gander. It's a lot of stuff that we are equally yoked. We need to bring ourselves to a certain point where we're all equal. I know this is going to take a long while to do that, but we still should be wondering about the same thing. Mark says, just know if you initiate it, you got to wait 30 minutes for the blue pill 3. Oh my God. Pam says I'm hollering. Well, you know what? Thank you for saying that, Mark, because maybe that's why a lot of women don't initiate, because I got to wait 30 minutes. Best versus a man, when he initiated and he getting it, he ready to go right then and there. So maybe that's why a lot of women don't initiate when it comes to that double standard, when it comes to sex. They just saying, I got to wait on him because of the, because of the blue pill 3. Hey, Tracy. Today on Conversation with Cookie Big, we're talking about double standard when it comes to dating, when it comes to the workplace, when it comes to your marriage, finances, everything. Because double standards are definitely existing right now. Gina says, well, y'all got me laughing, or is it the wine? Because we have grown. Mark, I'm thanking you because, we grew up together. And it's funny. Jay says we're not equal. Why do we want to be equal? What do you mean? Why do we want to be equal? We all want the same. Please explain. When I say equal, it's like equal treatment, equal pay. If you do something, certain things I know I can't do. But when you say equal, I should be considered the same, considered equally. That's what I mean by that. No, I still like long foreplay. Mark, that means if it's going to take you 30 minutes, that's some long foreplay. Thank you, Tony. That was a good response. So Jay, if you gonna do that, not Jay, Mark, if you gonna do that, that means that you need 30 minutes of foreplay. You're right, Jay. When I say we're all equal, I mean it from a standpoint of if we're all we treat it the same. You know, if you cheat, I cheat. You know, but if you can't handle it, don't do it. Like my mother used to say, how the pot gonna call the kettle black and you sitting on the same stove? You can't judge. You can't be judgmental like that. Hey, Auntie, Brenda says, it won't let me make a comment, damn it. I guess it's already let me know I say something. Pam says, girl, they can't do that no more. They can't do foreplay? Come on, Pam. Come on, Pam. Pam, men can still do foreplay. Now, men gonna have to get a little bit more imaginative because if you're asking for the woman to do the same thing, you better be ready. That's what you better be doing. So don't be talking about 6'8" and I owe you one. No, 6'9", nigga, 6'9". Not no 6'8" and I owe you one. 6'9". That's what I'm saying. But when it comes to the reciprocation of things, Tammy says, I ain't got time for that. Let's play and get to it. Yeah. Now, a lot of men are having a couple of issues right about now. The older men got high blood pressure. They got a lot of stuff that they got, I don't want to tell nobody business. It's okay. It's okay. But whatever issue you got, Pam says, oh my God, Pam, say it, girl. Whatever issues you got, men should be creative. You know, and I've learned that with most women, our foreplay starts in the mind anyway. You get my mind, what's his name? Michael Basin just wrote a book, Mind Fuck. If you fuck my mind, my body will follow. Come on now. You know, yeah, you're right, Pam. A lot of prostate issues, a lot of stuff going on. 5 seconds. Nope. We ain't doing that. I know that, what's that song? Don't want no short man. No, we don't want none of that. Mark says, no problem. Foreplay. Super lick'em lower Super lick'em lower lover man. Mark, I love you so much. Yes, you're right, Pam. A lot of men now have ED, but don't worry. A lot of women have been trying to solve their menopause issues with vaginal dryness and all that stuff. So they've been trying to get it in. Jay says, what's happening? Jay says, what's happening here? This is all a part of double standards because, come on now, don't dish it if you can't take it. Don't dish it if you can't take it. So I know that when it comes to double standards, there's a lot of men that talk big shit too, but they can't follow it up. Same with women, you know, they expect you to be a porn star in the bedroom and maybe getting disappointed. And that's okay. We all have our own idiosyncrasies. How about the afterplay? Pam, girl, look, that's another show. We got to talk about another show. That's another show. Wait a minute now. Pam says, understood. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me get my glasses on. Tammy says, it's understood, but they have their arms behind their head and they want to be pleased, but then get lazy when it's your turn. I'm not going. Take the pill and I'll get mine right. All right. All right. All right. I'm not going to take the pill. I'm not going to take that pill and get, go head on, Tammy. Go head on. Now, y'all know it's 5:58. We coming up on that time where our conversation is almost over with. Tony says, I know, right, Jay. I think the topic has gone away. No, we're still talking about oh my gosh, y'all got me having a hot flash. We are still talking about double standards. It just has led to the bedroom. So we're talking about double standards with dating, double standards in your marriage, double standards in the bedroom. It just broadened. That's what it did. It just broadened. But I surely do thank each and every one of you guys. Oh my gosh, I'm sitting here sweating, y'all. Wine attributes to hot flashes, so that's probably why I had a hot flash. But you guys Oh my gosh, this has been another exciting episode of Conversations with Cookie B. I take that pill in 23 minutes. I take that pill and I'm 23 again. Oh my gosh, you said I take that pill and you 23 again. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Y'all are funny. You all are funny. I thank you guys for being adults. I thank you guys for being grown ass men and women coming in here with me today to have a conversation about double standards, be it in dating, be it in your household, be it in finances, be it in the bedroom. You guys went broad, and I thank you. I thank you for sharing with me. You guys, it doesn't take much, but there's somebody learning for something that you typed in this chat today. And I sure thank you. Tony says, okay, now it's time for a title shot of tequila. Look, Tony, I think I got this much wine left. Girl, I'm finna go and sit down. What is it? I'm about to go lay down. I'm about to go. This has been an excellent show. Just note that, thank you, Pam. Good, clean laughter, because if we can't laugh at ourselves, we ain't living. I must say, we ain't living. Everybody have a great weekend. Kelly, thank you. Go Bears. Let me say that. Bear down. Bear down. Y'all have a good weekend. I thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys on Tuesday for another exciting episode and conversation with Cookie B. I love you guys, and I thank you guys for supporting my vision. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All that dating and giving her a flat tire ain't right. Bye, Mark. Lord have mercy. You guys have a great weekend. Stay safe. I love you guys. Thank you. And I'll see you on Tuesday for another exciting episode of Conversations with Cookie B. Oh my gosh. I see you left from Tuesday. Y'all. Oh my gosh. Y'all got me. Y'all got me. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting my dream. I appreciate it. I love talking to you guys. Talk to you guys on Tuesday. Bear down. Bye.